So welcome back to the channel, and in this video I have something that should be super quick for us to do here in AutoCAD. Now this one has a section and we're just kind of examining more into doing drafting or just basic drawings here in AutoCAD. So this is going to be another one that we're taking a 3D model and we're going to actually do some drafting out of it. Alright, so if that's something that you're into or interested in, stay tuned and let's find out. Okay, so here in AutoCAD, let me just jump back to the Home tab here. We're just going to turn off the grid. I will turn the ortho on. We'll take a look at my running O-snaps that I have. And you can see that I am in the 3D modeling tab. And remember that you can change over by selecting the sprocket here at the bottom and then select the 3D modeling tab. Alright, so this one is another one that's going to be kind of, two pieces that we're going to piece together here. So I'm going to start off by using a line. I'll go this direction, and my ortho is on. I'll go this direction, a distance of 10. I'll come down a distance of 60. Let's go over here to the right. Let's see, a distance of 90. We're going to go back up 60. We'll go in 10. So our height was at 90, or I'm sorry, at 60. So that means going down here should be 50. And then the rest of this we should be able to figure out from just touching and then come down at a track, do a left click here, and then type in C to close it. Okay, so this is going to be my first shape that I'm going to use. I'll just go ahead and join this together. And then my second shape is just going to be two circles. So I'll use a circle here that has a diameter of 60. And then I have a circle that's concentric to that one that has a diameter of 40. Alright, so these are all the components that I will need. Let's go ahead and switch this thing to an isometric view. We will need to put in one more circle, but I'll add that here a little bit later. Alright, so now I need to figure out how much I need to extrude each one of these. So I'll go to the extrude command, and I'll start off by extruding this one. Actually, both of them go up a height of 60. Let's go ahead and extrude all of this together. So we'll extrude them all together, a distance of 60. Wait a minute, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think this one goes up 60. That should go up 30. Okay. But I will show you another kind of neat command. Hopefully it works, and if I don't, I'll show you how to, get rid of it or do some other kind of things to it. But anyway. Let's go ahead and change this over to a shades of gray so we can do a couple of more things here. Alright, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the subtract command. Select the object we want to keep first. Go ahead and hit enter. And then we're going to just find the object on the inside that we want to subtract. And this is sometimes where it gets a little bit difficult. Let me try that once again. It's a lot better, obviously, if I use the wireframe. And if I don't get it this time, that's what I'll go ahead and use. Let's see, right about... Oh, it's being picky today. Okay. I'll switch it to a wireframe. No biggie. Okay. I'll just go ahead and use the subtract now. And you'll see that this is a lot easier. So I'll select the object I want to keep. Go ahead and hit enter. And then you select the object you want to subtract, and there it is. Okay. So now when I put it back in the shades of gray, you will see that it is cut out. Now, the overall height of this should be 90. When I extruded this, I did it at a height of 60. And then I did this one at a height of 90. There is a tool that we can use to shrink stuff down, and it's called the press pull. So if I use the press pull and I select this boundary, you can see that I can pull down this direction, and if I type in 30, it will pull it down going at that height. So that's the press pull tool, and I don't think I've used that too many times, but that is an option for you. Okay, so now I'm going to rotate this, and I'm just going to use the red axis. And I have my rotate gizmo on, just in case if you're wondering why I was able to do that. So I'm looking at this rotate gizmo here. I'll use the move command. Go ahead and select this object. I'll select this top quadrant. And then I'm just going to place it right here along this bottom midpoint. Okay. We're going to go ahead and union this together. So let's go to union. And we'll put a window over both of these. So now these two are together. And then I'll stand this up. Okay. So the way that we're going to stand it up is make sure your rotate gizmo is activated. Go ahead and select this red axis. Stand it up this direction. And now I'm going to purposely leave it in this orientation because when it comes to the drawing, we're going to kind of do some manipulations that I want to kind of show you. I'm going to also use a 2D drafting tool here to do a fillet, right? So let's see if it'll work for me. I'm just going to use the regular fillet. The radius is going to be set to, so I'll type in R enter 30. And now what I'm going to do is also select multiple since I have more than one. And let's see if this works. So I should be able to select that edge there, hit enter, and then enter, right? Then I'll go to this edge here. Okay. Enter twice, and I'll just keep working my way around to each one of these edges. And then I have one more that I need to do. Okay. Now, you do have a three-dimensional UCS that can kick into effect sometimes, and it might help on this one, but if it doesn't, then we can always use the old option of using some flip handles and things of that nature. But I'm going to try to show you the advanced way of doing it first. So let's go ahead and go to the cylinder command here. And now cylinder is looking for a center. So I'm going to highlight this face. And you can see that whole face light up. Then I'm going to come close to the center of this, right? I'm not touching the edge. And then I'll come down to the center. Do my left click there. And you can see now it did rotate my circle to the correct orientation. I will type D, enter, and then I'll type in the diameter, which is going to be 20. And then I'm just going to send it going out this direction. All right. Then we use the subtract command. Select the object I want to keep first, hit enter, then select the object that I want to subtract and hit enter. Okay. So for this one, all the modeling part is done. All right. So now we're going to jump over to doing the drafting portion. We're going to go to the layout tab. We're going to go ahead and delete this viewport here. We'll start off by creating our title block, and we're just going to use a really simple title block. So I'll start with the rectangle command. Lower left corner will be at 0, 0, enter, and upper right will be at 17, 11. Okay, we'll use the offset command next. So offset 0.25. Let's offset this to the inside. Next thing I'll do is go ahead and adjust the paper to match my title block. So remember, I'm just right clicking here, Page Setup Manager. When the dialog box appears, I will go to Modify, selecting the drop down DWG to PDF. Under here, it's going to be ANSI Full Bleed 17 by 11. I'll use the extents, center, and then I'll set this to monochrome. Now, sometimes you will have some drawings where you'll have some things that'll bleed to the outside of it. The more safer thing to use here would obviously be the window option. So if you use the window option, what I always recommend people do is pick the inside rectangle, right? So I want you to select, let's see if I can get it all in one shot here, this endpoint to this endpoint. Okay, that's a much more accurate way of setting this up, but there's nothing wrong with setting it to the extents. That works just as fine as well. Let's go ahead and hit that button there. Okay, and then close. And then it is adjusted to the right size we need. Let's go ahead and use the base function right here. If you don't have this on this view here, remember that this is also located underneath the layout tab and listed here. Once I select it, here's my front view. Okay, and I'm going to purposely do this. So I'm going to create that view. I'll go ahead and hit enter, come up here, create this view, and then I'll create my isometric. Once I'm done with my last view, go ahead and hit enter, and then AutoCAD should go ahead and produce all of those drawings for us. All right, next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and shrink this view down. So I will select it, hit the edit view. Give it a second here. And then what I'm going to do is that it's setting at 1/2. Let's go a little bit smaller. Let's see what the 3/8 look like. That's fine in my opinion. And then we'll use the shaded with visible lines. And so far, so good, right? So here's my drawing. Go ahead and hit enter afterwards. And now I'm looking at this and I said, well, I really want this to be in a different orientation. Now remember that this is my front view. If I go back to the modeling tab and if I take a look at this, it coincides with this one, right? So what we're actually looking at, and remember the 3 views that it takes to create an isometric will be the front, right, and the top. This is my isometric view. But if I wanted to rotate this and get it to the correct orientation, remember you have to be in anything other than just regular 2D wireframe. I'll use my rotate gizmo. So if I select the rotate gizmo here, then I'll select this blue axis. And you're going to see me spin this thing. So now my front view looks like this. All right. Let's go back to the layout tab and let's see what happens. Once I come back to here, you will see that it will update these views. Now, if I also had a section or something running through that, it would have updated the section as well. And I will show you that as well. So let's go back. And then we're going to go back one more step here. We're going to have it rotated back. Then let's take a look at the layout tab. Okay, so here's my view. Now I want to put a section in here, right? So let's use the section option. So let's go back to the layout tab, go to section. It always says, hey, go ahead and select the parent view first. I'll select here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch this midpoint and come up above my part. Do a left click here, come straight down, do a left click here at the bottom. Once you're done, go ahead and hit the enter button. And then I'm just going to come over this direction and place my view. Okay. And it looks like my view is actually shorter. I kind of know what's going on here. It's just that this view is not going all the way. But for what I needed to do, this will work fine. Okay. So you see that this is the view or the section that's going through this. This is just not showing the whole view of it. I'll jump back to the model space and I'll do what I need to do before. If I select it here, then select this blue axis and then just rotate it going this direction. Let's take a look at what our drawing will do. So that view will rotate and you can see that everything will update in real time. Another trick here that you can do, and it's just a couple of different options, is that you can also make an isometric of this section. So you see that the section runs through it this way. If I was to select this view here, and that's not selected first, let me go back to the layout tab and I go to project and I'll hit the projected button and I'll select this view. So if I bring it over here to an isometric and left click and place it, and let's go ahead and hit the enter button, you will see that it will also create a isometric of that part that is cut out. So if you wanted to make some of those complex views that you want to show in an isometric, sometimes it's easier just to go ahead and create that section of it. And then you can take a look and move the isometric or create the isometric according to whatever section that you have going through it. Let's go ahead and delete this. Another thing that we can do here is that we can break this alignment, right? So you see that this right now will not move. It can only go left and right, and that's because it's tied to this view. If you wanted to move this, what you have to do is have it selected. We'll open the properties. Remember, you can do a right click and go to properties. I just have mine open on an auto hide. And then we're going to come down in this list and you're going to say view alignment, and then you're going to see broken. So if I change it to broken, now when I go to select this view, I should be able to move it wherever I want. If I turn the ortho off, I should have free movement of it to go anywhere I like it. So if I wanted to put the section up there, by example, I can do that. Another thing that I can do, I can also put it back to where it needs to be. So if I have it selected here, once again, go back to the properties and then select the aligned, it will jump it back down to where it was originally. Okay. All right. One other step here is you see I have this section line that's going all the way through this. So if I want to adjust this section line up here at the top, and remember, once again, I'm on this layout tab here, I can select this imperial. So once this happens, I should get a dialog box to appear. Let's go ahead and go to modify. And then we need to turn a couple of things on or off. So depending on what you want it to show, we're going to go to the cutting plane. Right now the cutting plane is going all the way through. I'm going to turn that off, and now you can pay attention to the picture. And the only thing that you see right now is just the arrowheads pointing. But I do need to show those bends. So I'm just going to select here, and it will give me those bends. If I hit the OK button and then close, you're going to see that it will update this view to exactly what I just drew. Okay? Let's go ahead and put some center lines and center marks on here. So we have a center mark that is going through here. And then the rest of this should be center lines. So let's go ahead and take a look here. And once again, what I normally would do is create layers and things of that nature. But that's pretty much not the scope of, basically teaching you AutoCAD in the full instance of it. If you want to see those or me do that type of thing, I do have videos of me just doing those. So you're more than welcome to go, and I would recommend that you go to the AutoCAD playlist. And I should have plenty of videos if you want to see me do any kind of 2D drafting and things of that nature. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of finish up with doing this. Now up here along here, you got two choices here. Sometimes it's a lot easier just to grab this, grab the square, and place it at the midpoint. The exact same thing here on the bottom. And some people may not like that look, some people may, but it does give you kind of a continuous line running right through the middle. For these over here on the side, what we can do is we could select these. Now I'll select the other one here. Remember, I have my properties window open. I can select here, and then we can try a number. Let's see what 0.625 does. Still not showing. Let's go to 0.5. And now I can see that it did give me a little gap in between that. So that's what I was trying to look for. And it just gives me a better representation of what's happening. Let's do one more center line here. I can also do the exact same thing here. Let's go ahead and select this center mark. Then we can grab that square and place it down here at that midpoint. Okay, so you do have a continuous line that kind of goes through there. It's just a better look, at least in my opinion. I'll go ahead and delete this at the bottom. I really don't want to show that, and it's really not needed for the scope of this drawing. Okay, now let's go ahead and put some dimensions on this. Okay, I'm going to jump to the annotation tab, and I'll go ahead and use this all-in-one tool right here. This is similar to what you're going to see in SolidWorks or also in Inventor. This just has an all-in-one, but we do have the other options here that we can select and, basically force AutoCAD to do it a different type of way. But we'll go ahead and use the all-in-one since most of these dimensions are simple. Now remember, with the all-in-one, you want to go ahead and select everything just like regular. And what AutoCAD will do is try to figure out what are you trying to do. So you can see that it starts off with an aligned dimension, but as I rotate it up and come out this direction, it will find and say, hey, okay, you want a linear dimension. All right, now I'll do the same thing here. Let's see if it'll let me pick that midpoint. And if it doesn't, remember we can always shift and right click and force it to go to a midpoint. Like so. I'll place it down here. I'll go ahead and put a radius dimension on this one. So select it first and then do it like the same on here. Once it shows up, do a left click and then you're able to drag it out. Let's go ahead and do the linear dimension along this side. So I'll just select these two endpoints. Come out this way, kind of rotate it up, and it should snap and go that direction. And I do have some other things here I can use. Maybe in another video I will show you, like it does have some shortcuts and things of that nature here along the bottom that can be really useful. But in my opinion, just going ahead and clicking and doing some of this stuff the old way, you get better control, at least in my opinion. That's just me, kind of talking out loud and from years of experience of doing this. But it's always a tool that you can use to definitely expedite some things. Okay, we're going to go up this direction. And it looks like I did forget to put that distance on our drawing here. So let's put a distance between here and here. And we will come back and tell it that this is a typical dimension. So just in case if anybody was looking. And that can stop me from doing some of this other stuff, but keep putting dimensions on this drawing here. We'll go ahead and label this one as well. Okay. Trying to look and see what other dimensions that I could possibly need on here. So we can do a dimension here. We need one here. And then I'll place one here at the bottom. I think I like that look a lot better. That shows a lot better look than this dimension here. Okay, so now we have all of our views and everything dimensioned. The last thing I'm going to do is just kind of format my dimensions. Remember, we're going to go to D-Enter. It should bring up in this dialog box here. We'll hit the Modify button. I always like to start in the Primary Units tab. It's just something that I've always done. So I'll click on the Primary Units tab. Go ahead and suppress these trailing zeros. There's nothing for us to do underneath the fit. We're not going to adjust any of the text height. We will adjust the symbols and arrows. Since I went ahead and put center marks and center lines on everything, I'll go ahead and turn that option off. Go ahead and hit the OK button and close, and all of these dimensions should update here, which they did. Okay, a couple of more things we need to do is I'm just going to double click on this dimension. That should bring up the text editor. And what we're going to do is just, I usually like to hit my right arrow to get to the end of this. Go ahead and hit the enter button, and then I'll type in the word through, right? So we'll go ahead and tell it we're going to send that one through. And then here we have an option to put a degree symbol in front of it, right? Oh, I'm sorry, a diameter symbol. Two options. We can use that same option like I did before by double clicking on the inside of this. So all I can do is double click on this text. Once the dialog box appears, here I'll hit the left arrow. And remember, you can type in %C, or you can select it from the drop down here at the top. So I can go here and select it here, and it will insert it. Okay, so this is kind of if you only got like one or two of those things to do. This method is totally fine, but I'm going to undo this, and I'll show you a much quicker way if you have multiple, right? Like I went a little bit too far. Let's go ahead and put the through back. No, it was part of the same command. Okay, I'll go ahead and edit this, and then I'll take that off on the front. Okay, so what I'm trying to show you next is that if you do have multiple basically dimensions that you want to alter or edit, and they're going to do the same thing to them, I can select both of these. And then what I can do is come over to the properties window. I'll scroll down in here, and I'm underneath the text one. So I'm underneath the text one. I'm looking for text overwrite. I'll type in %C less than greater than. The less than greater than means use the dimensions that AutoCAD or that is already listed there, and then go ahead and put that in front of it, right? So when I hit the enter button, you're going to see both of those should jump and have a diameter symbol. Okay, so I think that's all we need to know for as doing a basic drawing here in AutoCAD, right? So hopefully you enjoyed watching this video. Please consider subscribe, sharing it if this is the content that you like, or maybe I may have forgot some or may not have explained it clearly. Please let me know down below in the comment if that applies. Okay, so thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being here with me. As always, keep drafting, and I'll see you in the next video.